Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. We got Sunday night baseball tonight. Padres Braves. This is the Talking Friars Padres Braves pregame show. Sunday night baseball pregame show. Yesterday, yikes. Yesterday was not great for the Padres. They dropped to 5-5, lost 2 in a row. Braves won, obviously. They've won 2 in a row. Now they're 5-5. They're second place in their division, a game and a half back of first. Padres are in fourth, 2 games back in the West. Tonight, first pitch at 4:08 p.m. Pacific time. It's on ESPN and ESPN2 with the K-Rodcast. Michael K. and Alex Rodriguez will be doing that. Yesterday, just touching on yesterday a little bit as we, wait for some people to come on in here for this pregame show. A few hours before first pitch, Padres are taking BP right now. Padres obviously lose by 3 runs yesterday. They scored the same amount of runs that they scored on, Friday, Mackenzie Gore's debut. Nick Martinez got the start, wasn't as solid as he was in San Francisco. He did fight out of some jams, but he gave up 3 bombs. Ozzie Albies in the first inning, second pitch of the game. Matt Olson went oppo on him. Marcelo Zuna was not a fastball like Albies or Olson, but it was just a breaking ball that was over the middle of the plate. And Ozuna hit that over left field wall, which almost hit the Callaway golf ball. Bright side, Grisham robbed a homer, hit a homer. Profar hit a home run as well. Now he's at 3. I think that's the team lead. But the offense went the equivalent of 12 outs at one point against Ian Anderson, Atlanta's pitcher yesterday, starting pitcher yesterday, without getting a hit. They had the Profar home run, and then they didn't get another hit until Austin Nola got a single. Padres have lost 4 of their last 5. Now, that 4-1 start, now it's 5-5. They started off with a bad team, and now look what's happened. Now they're 5-5, playing in actually a World Series contender in the Braves, and now they're looking to split. And I was happy going into this series with the split, so if they win today, I'm going to have to be happy. But there's some games, especially like Gore's debut, they could have won that game if the offense, didn't score only 2 runs, right? And if Pierce Johnson didn't blow it and Lamet was kind of solid, but he wasn't. He had that slider wild pitch. So there were opportunities to win, win 2 of the first 3 games of the series, but obviously they weren't able to do that. By the way, episode 150 tonight, live after the game, talking about this Brave series, talking about the Myers injury and the Cincinnati series coming up. Thank God the Padres don't have to face Hunter Green. He throws 100 miles an hour. He had like 38 pitches yesterday against the Dodgers that were 100+ mile an hour. So good thing they don't have to face him again, in that Cincinnati series. Then they have a day off Thursday, and then they face the Dodgers at home. That's the only time that they have to face the Dodgers until the summer, until like the end of June, like June 30th, June 31st, something crazy like that. So it's good that they only have to face him once with Tatis out. By the way, Tatis he's played soccer pretty much every day on the outfield before the Padres take BP. I'd kind of like him to do some traditional cardio stuff. And I know that he is doing that stuff. I've seen it on video. But I'd rather have him not do those bicycle kick soccer stuff and kick it in midair and, all that. But that's just who he is. Get into some, news and notes, Padres notes here before we get into the real pregame type stuff today. Kevin Acee said that Will Myers' thumb and his index injury, or his index area, is purple. He injured it sliding into second base on Tuesday, so he's out of the lineup today. Matt Beatty's in right field, and we'll get to the lineup, which I think is a pretty good one based on their circumstances. Luke Voit is not in the lineup. He struck out 3 times yesterday, 3. And he struck out 12 times in his last 23 plate appearances, according to Kevin Acee. I think I posted this on Twitter yesterday, and I'll talk about it more tonight after the game, that I think that Voit would be better off having a toe tap with 2 strikes, kind of like Bryce Harper has, instead of having that, violent leg kick not violent leg kick, but that big leg kick and then the violent swing on every pitch. I think he'd be better off, toning it down. He can have that the first 2 strikes, and then once you get the 2 strikes, just put the ball in play, just make contact. And that's not really what's happening right now with Voit. And I know if I would tell Voit that, and I was the hitting coach, if I was Michael Bedard and said, hey, maybe, just lessen the violence on the swing, what he'd tell me back is, Ben, I'm doing the same swing. This is my swing. This is my swing. I've been doing this, and I've had success with this my entire career. So I'm not going to change it just because I'm off to an early season slump. I've been in slumps before, and I've gotten out of it. So I think I should ride with this. I think that's what Luke would tell me, but that's just a recommendation, seeing the early, and even in spring training, just seeing the early returns on this violent swing, this leg kick. For me, in spring training, that's what I saw. Even in spring training, dating back to spring training, I saw him, have these violent swings and people just throw up curveballs and breaking balls and him not have a ton of success. I believe that homer he hit in spring training was a fastball. It was off a fastball. So he can hit fastballs, but when Voigt's up at the plate, opposing pitchers are being smart and they're seeing that, hey, this guy hits fastballs well. We're not going to throw him a fastball. We're going to throw him a breaking ball here because he can't hit it right now. So those are my thoughts on Voit. Padres have scored 22 runs in 2 of their 10 games. Obviously, that game, that Sunday game, I believe, where they scored 10, and then Thursday, the home opener, where they scored 12. Those are the 22 runs in those 2 games that I'm talking about there. The other 8 of those 10 games, they've scored 21 runs. So what does that tell me? That these 2 games that they scored 22 runs, it's a fluke. It's not real, I'm going to take the 80% of their games this year where they've scored only 21 runs combined and say, hey, this is actually who the Padres offense is right now. So that's concerning. That is very concerning. And before we get to the pitching matchup, just welcoming on in some people here, welcoming on some fans. What's up? What's up, everybody? Quan, what's up? Ocean Boy 760, what's up? John, what's up? How's it going? Quan says, let's get the split today. I hope so. Must win today to stay above 500. Yep, you're right, Irie. Yep. Irie and John. John says, first mildly pivotal game of the season. Well, I don't know if it's pivotal. I mean, they're playing the Reds tomorrow, so even if they lose, I know that would suck with Darvish on the mound, but they are playing the Reds tomorrow. It's not like you could go on a 6-game losing streak or something if you lose today, But, it's pivotal, but at the same time, it's not really pivotal. We're a week and a half into the season. So I don't think any games are pivotal right now. Irie says, beat LA. Yep, that comes on this coming weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Petco Park. Hopefully, I think that it would be jumping and a lot of Padre fans. Yeah, you're right, Gil. Is Tatis really doing bicycle kicks? When you do bicycle kicks, you usually land with your hands to lessen the impact. Okay, so I meant like the thing where he flips the ball up behind him and it goes over his head, and then in midair he kicks the ball. Like, my Wi-Fi sucks right now, so I probably won't be able to show the video. Let me see real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up. My internet. Okay, here. Let's see if. Okay, yeah. So here's the Tatis soccer thing. So this was Tatis earlier today, and he's been doing this a lot, pretty much every day this series, I think. And he's doing it with someone, but trying to fast forward here. There was one point in this video where he was using his left foot. See, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's just doing tricks. That's pretty much what he's doing. I'd still not like him. I mean, I'd rather have him not do that when he's making $340 million, but that's just me. Let's see. I'd like a t-shirt like the one Ben's got. Yeah, so thanks to my mom. She just sent me this for Easter. Yeah, this Talking Friars shirt. You can see the logo with the bat, the same thing up there that's on at the top here. And then on the sleeve, it says Talking Friars. And then on the back as well, there's the Friar with the bat, and then it's Talking Friars on the bat as well. But we're not selling anything right now. That was just a surprise gift from my mom today. But if there's more interest, I could maybe look into it, but not right now. I guess that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so right now, John, not yet. I mean, I just got this today. Just going through some comments here. All right, let's get to continuing this pregame show. The pitching matchup, Yu Darvish today against Bryce Elder. Yu Darvish, he sucked last time out. Gave up 9 runs, 8 runs while he was on the mound. He just didn't really have a feel for his pitches, and that was pretty evident right at the beginning of the game. Like 10 minutes into the game, it was pretty much a blowout. Like, Giants scored 6 runs in that first inning off of him, 4 runs in the second inning, and just his shortest start of his career. And you hope that he doesn't do that again. You hope that it was conditions, the conditions in San Francisco, and that San Diego tonight isn't going to be that same thing, obviously. So you'd hope that he'd get the grip more on his ball and he'd be more comfortable in San Diego at home. Maybe you'd start to worry. I'd start to worry if he replicates that again tonight, but I don't believe that he's going to do that. I mean, in control today, it's more of controlled temperatures, not terrible, cold, windy temperatures like it was in San Francisco. So you think that he'd, get back to some form of what he was pitching like in spring training and in Arizona, but he is going to face a good lineup today. So maybe it'll be a middle ground between Arizona's start in San Francisco's start. So you're allowing 3-4 runs. I don't think that would be great. I don't think that's going to set the Padres up for success based on the offense that we've seen. But at the same time, it would still obviously be better than what we saw out of his San Francisco start his last time out. So there's that. As for Bryce Elder, Yanoa was supposed to start this series. I looked today, and it was not him. Yanoa was supposed to start the series before the series started. That was kind of on my series preview. Yanoa was on there, and he's not today. He's not pitching today. So it's Bryce Elder. He made his big league debut. The first start, his first major league start last time out. It will be his first road start of his major league career tonight. So we'll see what comes of that. He went 5 2/3 innings last time out in his first start of his big league career. 3 earned runs. Only 1 run was through 5. And I think through 5 innings. He gave up 2 home runs. One was to Juan Soto. That's not that too big of a deal. I mean, Juan Soto homers off of everyone. He didn't walk anyone, so that's a good thing for him. So for my point of view here is that he's going to throw pitches in the strike zone. And so the Padres are going to get some pitches to hit. Will they be able to hit them? And the Braves, hopefully this doesn't happen. The Braves gave him 10 runs by the end of the 4th inning against the Reds last time out in his first start. So I think that made him a lot more comfortable that the Braves gave him a big lead. And I don't think that they're going to do that again. If they do, that's going to be some big trouble. That Darvish has back-to-back sucky starts. But we'll see what happens. But that's a little bit on Bryce Elder. He faced the Reds in his big league debut. Getting to the bullpen situation. Let me see here. Here we go. So Nabil and Stammen aren't going to pitch today. They had 40 and 20 pitches respectively yesterday. But maybe they stay away from Pierce Johnson, knowing that you have 3 straight games coming up next. But I say it again, Rogers has not pitched in a long time. He hasn't pitched more than a starter. He's had 5 days without pitching. 5 games without pitching. So they're going to get him in this game, you would think. I mean, I said that yesterday, and they didn't get him in the game because they probably are going to want him to give him 3 straight days if they have a lead 3 straight days, So they're saving him, but at what point do you want to get him in the games, Suarez came off of 28 pitches. For me, I mean, Rogers, it's like they got to get him in the game. You don't want your closer to go 6 games now if he doesn't pitch today. You don't want him to go 6 games without pitching. Luis Garcia, 6 pitches on Friday. So I would expect him to get in today, go on that every other day type schedule. But Chris Matt and Stammen seem like the only guys that are down today that would not pitch. But who knows? I mean, for me, Rogers is the biggest thing looking at this bullpen chart that I put out every day at Talking Friars on Twitter and Instagram. I put out every day what the bullpen situation is so we can kind of see who's going to be down, who's going to be up going into the game. And then looking at the Padres lineups for today, hold on one second. All right, for the Braves, Albies, Olsen, Riley, Ozuna, Darno, Alex Dickerson, DHing, Duvall, Rosario, and then Swanson. And then for the Padres, Luke Voit not being in the lineup is the big storyline. Myers is still out with that thumb issue. AC said this morning in his newsletter that it's purple. His thumb area is purple. So that's not good news. Grisham leading off, Nola hitting second, Cronenworth, Machado. So if I remember correctly, Machado was hitting third yesterday. So they're changing that up. Hosmer, hitting fifth, Profar, Beatty, Kim, and then Abrams. So the first time this season that Bob Melvin is running out the Ha-Seong Kim, CJ Abrams middle infield combination. Because Voit is not in the lineup, that causes a lot of chain reactions. You got Cronenworth DHing, replacing Voit in that DH spot. You got Abrams moving from shortstop to second base, and then Kim moving to shortstop from the bench. And then you got Beatty moving to right field. He was in right yesterday, but he's still in right field. So for a Sunday Night Baseball lineup, I mean, it's probably the best lineup that you could have right now, in considering the circumstances. I saw some people on Twitter saying, "Oh, this isn't the ideal lineup for Sunday Night Baseball," and it's not. But for the circumstances, it is. You have Myers hurt. You have Voit striking out 3 times a game and just seems lost against breaking balls at the plate right now. So give him a day off. Grisham homered yesterday, so maybe he can have something going there. Profar's been hitting well. Hosmer, obviously. Manny, 8 hits in his last 2 games, not including yesterday's game. And then Cronenworth, obviously the all-star from last year. Beatty, that San Francisco game, almost won them the game. So for me, this is the best lineup, considering the circumstances. So give me your thoughts. What do you think of this lineup? It's not ideal just based on the names, but it is ideal based on the circumstances, because you're not going to have Jose Azocar, hitting the whole game, right? That's not his role. That's not why he was brought on this team. All right, my what to watch for today. Matt Beatty, like I just talked about, replacing Voit in the lineup. Voit was the DH, so replacing him, technically it's Cronenworth, but Cronenworth was in the lineup yesterday. Abrams was in the lineup yesterday. So, I know Beatty was in the lineup. So I guess Kim was, if you put it that way, Kim was replacing Voit. But how will Beatty do in right field? You really got the sun. There will be shadows today because it is a 4 o'clock start, 4:08 start. So there will be some shadows that come into effect. How does that play in? Usually the right fielder is the last guy that doesn't have the shadows. And so as the game goes on, he ends up having shadows. So how will he adjust to that? Will Grisham get going after having that home run yesterday? Darvish, was that Arizona start a fluke? Where he pitched really well, 6 shutout innings. Was that a fluke, or was that actually who he is, and the San Francisco start was a fluke because of the conditions that there were? They end up losing that game 13-2, and the whole Mauricio Dubont controversy and all that happened. But so those are my what to watch for today. My Padre pick, one guy I think will get a hit today. I'm going to go Eric Hosmer today. The left-right matchup, he's been hitting pretty good. I'm 5-4 so far this season in my pregame show Padre pick. I picked Machado last night, and he went 0-4. I was picking him till he went cold, and he went cold yesterday. Showed that he was human at the plate. So I'm going to go Hosmer. I'm going to go lefty against a righty today. I don't have a ton of confidence in Cronenworth. The way that I'm seeing his at-bats right now, he's striking out more than he was at the beginning of last year. But, knowing me, knowing my picks, Cronenworth's going to go hit a home run or a triple in his first at-bat. So I'd be happy with that, obviously. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Going to some MLB news and notes. Baltimore, wow, I was watching some of this game. It was a pitcher's duel, Baltimore and the Yankees, and someone had an immaculate inning. Nestor Cortez, I think, was his name. And Baltimore's up 5-0 now in the top of the ninth. Yankees have 2 outs, so it seems like they're going to lose that game. Washington and Pittsburgh are tied at 3 in the 7th. Albert Pujols hit a 3-run bomb today for the Cardinals against the Brewers. And that doesn't mean that they're winning. They're losing in the 5th, 4-3. Tampa's up on the White Sox, 4-2. Miami's crushing the Phillies, 9-2. The Giants squeezed out a win last night. I was watching the end of that game in Cleveland, and They are smashing Cleveland today, 8-1. The Mets are up on Arizona, 5-0. So there's some NL West teams in action already. Boston up 8-1 on Minnesota. Toronto, a lot of people's favorites to get to the World Series, 4-3. They're up on the A's. Let's see here. Houston, Seattle just got started. Cincinnati and the Dodgers just got started as well. And then obviously tonight is the Sunday night game. Padres are the last team to play. ESPN with David Cohn, Carl Ravage, Eduardo Perez is the main broadcast. Michael Kay and Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, will be on ESPN2 with a K-Rod broadcast. Their second ever K-Rod broadcast. They had one last week. And I guess some people didn't really like it, but we'll see if they get more comfortable today. So Don and Mud are not there, but you have Jesse and Tony on the radio if you want. Getting into some news and notes, Gil did mention Ryan Weathers with his third subpar outing, though each time he's improving. By the way, he's in El Paso for anyone wondering. Goes 2 or 3 innings every time before he runs into trouble. He's faced a really good Dodger lineup. Yeah, if you look at the guys that are in that lineup, Matt Carpenter, Zach McKinstry, there's some major league names in there. So it's not like he's facing a total minor league lineup. But it's a little concerning, but at the same time, I don't think Ryan Weathers is they ever thought about him being called up. Did they ever think about him being called up right now? No, they went immediately to Mackenzie Gore as that lefty. So they have bullpen options. They have Chris Matt to be a long guy. They have Gore, obviously. And then they'll still have Gore as an option when Clevenger and Snell get back. So, I think he's working through things. I think Weathers is working through things. But I don't really think that it's too much of a concern because it's not like the Padres were relying on him. Obviously, you'd want him to be an option, but I think he's still just working through things, and hopefully he finds a groove and he can really be an option and maybe force the Padres' hand later in the season. But right now, I just wouldn't be too concerned right now just because he's not really being considered as a big option for the Padres. Moving on to some reports that are coming out right now. As the Padres are probably taking BP right now. AJ Cassavell with some injury updates says Austin Adams obviously was on the IL. He is on the IL. He had some forearm tightness, exited that 13-2 Padre Giants game this past week. He had an MRI. Will get a second opinion before the next step is finalized. So that's not good. If you're getting a second opinion, that probably means that you didn't like what you heard from the first opinion, which is probably like Tommy John surgery or recovering and out 5 months. So that's not good news at all. And Austin Adams, if he wasn't going to hit the world like he did last year, I thought he was going to be a pretty good arm for the Padres bullpen. If they lose him, that's not great. It's kind of like a Morhone situation like last year, or Keone Kela like last year, where they, missed pretty much the majority of the season due to Tommy John. And so that's kind of what this mirrors. So not a great situation with Austin Adams. Blake Snell will throw a side on Tuesday, so in the middle of that Red Series before the game. Clevenger will pitch what could be his final rehab start. Tweet got cut off. Hang on one second. Let me see here. Okay. He'll pitch what could be his final rehab start on Tuesday for El Paso. So his first rehab start was in Lake Elsinore, and now they're moving it up to El Paso. So if they're putting him in El Paso, that seems like they're pretty serious about getting him back on the big league roster because they want him to face some, 4A type talent, if you will, AAA talent. So that's kind of where that is at right now. Clevenger, final rehab start Tuesday, what it could be his final rehab start. If it doesn't go well, then obviously that probably wouldn't be his final rehab start. He only went 2 innings in his first rehab start in Lake Elsinore. So will he go 3 or will he go 4? And they want to piggyback him and Gore when Clevenger comes back. If that's something they want to do, who knows? Pair a righty with a lefty. And then Blake Snell obviously throwing aside Tuesday. Myers is available coming off the bench today. So there's some news there. He could get back in the lineup, I would assume then, during the Cincinnati series if he's going to be available today off the bench. But Kevin Acee said earlier this morning that his thumb index area is purple. So that's not really what you want. And then Austin Adams getting a second opinion. So those are some updates for the Padres. Again, Sunday Night Baseball tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We got episode 150 going live after tonight's game, discussing all that went on this series, discussing the Padres offense, any more updates that Bob Melvin says after the game. That'll be live to get my live reaction for that. Previewing a little bit of the Cincinnati Red series and what's next to come for the Padres this week, with the Dodgers coming in next weekend. So ESPN2, ESPN, 97.3 The Fan, where you can get the Padres-Braves broadcast. Hope you enjoyed this pregame show. It's available live and replay before every game, going live before every game for the pregame show. Hope you enjoy this content and enjoy the game tonight. See ya.